So now that we've collected about 600 milliliters of our distillate, I've got clearly a thin film of oil sitting on top of the water here. I need to be able to separate that out. In order to do that, we're going to be using what's called a separatory funnel. A separatory funnel has this thinner nozzle on bottom, and then it expands out. And it has a stopcock on the end that allows it to allow water to, or other fluid, to drain cleanly through. And so what we're going to be doing is just setting up a ring stand with a ring here. Nothing fancy, just something to hold my separatory funnel. They'll come with these tops on them. And I just need to pour my entire mixture into this separatory funnel. Let's make it a little more visible. Pouring the whole thing in, trying to avoid doing that, spilling. And then I'm going to use a wash bottle to try and get all of the extra oil that's clinging to the sides here, because there might be quite a bit of it. Just basically using the wash bottle to kind of push that oil around. I'm going to collect as much of that as I can. Well, that was a waste. Oh well. Okay. Next, because I just swished all of that around, I need to give time for the water and the oil layers to separate from each other. So I'm going to place my cap on top of this, and I'm going to let this sit for about an hour or so. Likely for you in class, you'll set this up, you'll go work on something else, and you'll come back the next day to have these layers separated. Okay? Now that we've given gravity some time to filter out our two layers, our water and our oil layer, we're now able to separate the two. Now, notice first, I have the cap taken off of the separatory funnel. If this is on, it will actually create a vacuum in the top here. And by on, I mean screwed all the way on. It can be loose. As long as it's loose, it's good. But if we create a vacuum up here, the fluid won't drain. So, once I'm ready to go, I've got my oil all ready to separate. All I'm going to do is turn this stopcock here and allow the fluid to start draining. So you can see it drains out nice and steady. And I'm letting all of this water drain. And it doesn't matter what I do with it, because this has all of that excess organic material that isn't a part of the oil. What we're looking for is the fragrance. So this can all just go down the drain. You may not be able to see this, but a lot of my oil starts sticking to the sides here. We're going to take care of that in a little bit. So all we're doing is we're just letting that bottom layer of water drain out. We can get rid of this water now. Continue draining. Okay, we're starting to get close to the bottom here, so I'm going to stop it. Now, if you notice, the closer we get to the bottom, the more pronounced my layer of oil is. But because it's been moving down so much, this can mix a little bit. So once you get down to this last little layer, give it a little bit of time, just a few minutes, to separate again. So now I'm going to take my wash bottle, and you see this excess built up on the side. I'm just going to rinse that off so that it can move down to the rest of the oil, so that I can collect all of it. Now this is going to put a little bit more water in here, but that's fine. Might be easier to take it out and run it just like this. All right. So now most of my oil has been washed off the side. I can drain out that last little bit of water. I might need to give it a little bit more time to separate again. And then once it has separated, I'll take out that last little bit of water and collect my oil. Okay, I've got my entire bottom layer of water drained out. I know because I'm starting to get just a little bit of oil coming out. And so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take a small test tube, I'm going to set it up right under the stopcock, and I'm going to let the oil drain right into that. And there we have just a little bit of orange oil. Put a stopper in that. Using some masking tape, put your name on it and set it in a test tube holder. Finally, once your oil has been collected, you should be able to go ahead and dismantle all of it. Give all of this time to cool before you take it apart. We don't need to burn our hands. We're not in a rush. But we've got this. This section will be nice and hot. This will be hot. This is just producing steam. This is all very hot. So give it a minute to cool down. Once this part has cooled down, you can remove your corks. And then using this guy right here, you can lift this up off of the hot plate so that this section can air dry or air cool. Once everything has cooled down, clean this whole area up, return everything to its rightful spot. Make sure you clean these slurries out. This can just be dumped outside. All it is orange zest and water.